Hello and welcome. It's lovely to have you with me here at the Permaculture Shoestring Home and Garden. And this week, being the second full week of November, will be about the crafts that we do. If you haven't been on this channel yet, you will not know yet that in the Permaculture Shoestring Home and Garden, there is a bit of everything that goes on. We do gardening. I love gardening. Well, I'm the one who does all the gardening. I love gardening. And I use permaculture principles in my gardening, and there's just no way for me to quite adequately explain about all of that. I'll get to that in another video. And so we do crafts as well, wooden crafts. I also do all sorts of other crafts as and when is needed. I love to do make, do and mend. It's one of the things that I've always lived by, that I remember my mum teaching me from a very young age. So the make, do and mend, and then there's a lot of other things as well. A part of our journey in this, whatever it is we're doing, is part of self-reliance as well, and trying to get closer to the dream that we always had of our own land, our own small holding, if you like. That was the original dream, and over the years, as such a dream has seen further and further away, we have pared that down and found that in fact, in our suburban home, with our suburban garden, we're already living quite a few principles that we would have done in a small holding, just in a much smaller scale and much more achievable for us in our situation. So there's a whole lot that goes on for us here, and there's a lot of stuff I get stuck into. So I decided to separate that up into like 4 topics. So one video per month for each week will be to do with each of those topics. So the first week of the month is gardening, the second week of the month is the crafting, the third week is the make, do and mend, and then the fourth week something to do with self-reliance. And if there's 4 fifth weeks of a month, and that one is just generally a general chit chat. So this week, being the second week of November, is the craft week. So I just want to catch up with you what I've been doing since my last craft video. Doing loads we have. So let's get on with it. So here we go. Okay, you can tell there's a lot of stuff on this table. So how about we just clear the foreground first? Okay, this is a doozy, this one. Don't know if you can see it very well. I'll turn it up that way. This is 2 characters, a couple, on a plinth, and first and foremost, this plinth comes apart like a puzzle, just the 2 halves, and I've pyrographied on there so that it looks like 4 quarters of a puzzle, and they're standing close together. It's an elf and somebody dressed up in Santa clothes. That's a lovely couple. Hubby loved whittling them, even though he found it a challenge, and I absolutely loved painting it. And again, this base, I can't remember what it is. I'll have to tell you when I can figure it out. But I just love doing this. This is really lovely. And if you take it apart and you look at them that way, it came out pretty cute. And I love the stripy tights of the elf and the pointy shoes. Can you see those pointy shoes? You can't really tell, can you? But that was a trick. That really was a trick to be able to whittle that. But he did it, and I painted it. So there you go. That was really enjoyable to do that. Now we have 4 sets. You remember we started doing this last year? So we have these 4 sets, and you saw me start them earlier. I said that we were going to do them. We started making these last year, and every single one of them is slightly different, even though they look the same. They look similar, but are very different in some ways. And they're simple. We've seen that one before with the glitter on the top for the snow and the silver and the blending of the different shades of the same colours. So that's the sets there. And I've put felt on the bottom so that whatever surface they sit on, they're not going to scratch, being wood. And those are the end grains on the bottom of the wood, so they tend to be a bit scratchy. Even if you sand it and seal it and then varnish it, they still can, sometimes the grains can still open up and be scratchy. So the felt is just there to nicely You see those? The little snowflake speckles all over with the garlands and the little jeweled, snowy, glittery, what do you call them? Icicle type things, little droplets. I love doing that. I really enjoyed it. I love doing the little elves with their pretty little collars. I don't even know what you call it. And his hair at the back, but he's different to this one, as you can tell. They're similar but different. There you go. I really enjoyed doing that. I love painting these wooden things. I love seeing them coming out something pretty. And then there's a more masculine set, 2 of them. Again, look similar but are different. Silver and green, gold and green. Even though the details on both are gold, the shading is different. And you can tell they are slightly different, even with the decoration on the backs. Okay, so that's the elves. Even the Santas, slightly different shapes. One is smaller than the other. Different beards. And the different decorations on the back. So similar, but different. We can never ever do anything exactly the same. Everything we do is quite unique. And there you can see it on the trees as well. It's different. The shading, the lighter bits at the bottom going up, and on this one from the top going down, but gold and green, silver and green. Even the little baubles on the tree is slightly different to the dots on this one. Still plenty enjoyable about them. Love doing that one. Even the angels. There you go. Absolutely love doing those. There, that's better. That's the way they should be. Do you remember watching me do this one? I made a video while I was painting this one. I don't remember if I made a video of him finished and completed. But that's him completed with some raised, because I relief carved these gifts and the teddy so that you can feel them and it's tactile. And he has his holly on eventually. I put the holly leaves and berries on like that. So he's done with his blue boots, his brown boots. So really I think he should go on a plinth, a nice little stand. So he's going to go on a stand, and I really enjoyed not doing this white. I wanted a contrast with the beard, and I wanted to be more natural and quite vintage looking. So he came out really nice. The shadowing helped to keep it vintage as well. So he's done there. Do you remember me showing you these that I did? I did show you these ones. And they're standing ones. Since then, we've also made... Do you remember the hanging ones? Let me show you what they looked like before. I showed you them unfinished. That's what they look like unfinished, the hanging ones. So now that, let me just tighten that back in. That is a completed one for hanging in the tree, and I absolutely loved. These arms do still move as well, but I'd prefer not to move the arms. Absolutely millimeter and smaller little dots of different colors of the gold and the red, just for a little more detail. Even on the sleeve, you can't even see it on this camera, and on the back you can't even see all the dots that are in there. It's just about, I suppose, but not very well. Loved painting these as well, and all the frills on the ruff as well. Really totally. And this feather as well. I love doing this feather. I like feathers, and that was good with a little braided rope and a tassel at the top. And I love the simple little curly moustache, but I loved doing that. This is for the Christmas tree, and they dangly ones, so they are absolutely brilliant. I loved doing that one. This one is a bit of a surprise. This is a really small one, so slightly different to the taller one. He has a peak on his cap, And the feet are different as well. I don't know if you can see the feet. They're slightly different. So, much smaller, but I have put the similar details. Even on the hat, it's a bit different. So they are different on the back as well. Only slightly, but still different. But this is for hanging in the tree as well. Still a lovely, nice, it's like holding a really good bauble. It's substantial. You can feel it's got a weight in it. But I do love that. And even on there, there's the tiniest little bit of colour that you can't even see on this camera. Okay, so you've seen those. And now for these guys. Let me move these out the way. Remember showing you these? I don't remember if I did in another video. I'll have to check. But they're done. These are the Celtic Santas, and their staves come out of their hands. And I did this sort of gold, or creamy gold colour on the garment underneath, with the red, very ruby red details on it. Similar details on the back of the mittens, and again similar details on the sack, on these Santa sack. Different beards for all of them. There's 4 of them. Each of them have different beards. Each of them are different shape, size. These 2 of them have got these little, where the foot sticks out of underneath the garment, and there are little folds of the fabric coming over the foot. So that has a little extra detail. And the faces are all different as well. I just loved doing them. And I love the fact that we used this metallic green and then dry brushed on the surface a little bit of gold, just to give it that bit of luxury. Really enjoyed that. And the shadowing, it just would not be the same without the shadowing. I found a different way of highlighting, or rather low lighting, all the grooves and highlighting all the raised surfaces between the grooves. So, and I feel that worked really nicely. It came out really well. So let's put you over there, Santa. That's 1. And I love I just love that wonky walking staff. This one has a straight walking staff, and it comes out as well. Also much deeper folds over the foot at the bottom. This is really interesting. I like this one as well. And face yet again. And they have the mouths as well. You can even see the lips on the bottom. And they all have different faces, different mouths, different expressions. And this one, there's 2 of these that are a bit skinnier than the others. And they have the smaller Santa sack, but they're the same height but different width. And they have different expressions in the mouth as well. Can you see the teeth? He looks a bit like, wow. I'm not sure what that expression is actually, but I love doing the eyes, because I don't know if you can tell from there that the eyes are 2 different blues, like you see with people's eyes. There's a dark on the outside, a lighter on the inside, then the pupils and the little white dots for the light reflecting. And the eyebrows, love doing the eyebrows. It's just not the same without it. And the different shadowing around the edges, just to give a dimension. It really changes it from when it was just wood. And even though I loved it when it was just wood, it just kind of brings them to life, having them painted that way. And they also all have felt underneath, again to protect any surface that they may stand on. And on the bags, all of them have a seam going down the one side, little dotted thread seams, because in the wood there's this natural crack, and it just seemed like like a natural seam. So I thought I'd highlight that crack in the seam on all of them. Only one didn't have it, so I just made and painted on a crack on the one that didn't have it. So yeah, a seam on there. Also the bags on the flat surface, to sit on a surface, also have felt, just to protect whatever surface they stand on. And his beard obviously is very different, and his expression, that's a bit more of a gruff expression on that one, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit different, he is. I like him. And the arms again are different on these ones. So like a few more grooves in the fabric, and the usual shadowing and the highlighting with the gold everywhere. Really enjoy doing these. It was such a pleasure, but it's taken a very long time to get these done. One of these, just to whittle, could take up to 3 hours, and then to paint it could take 4 to 5 hours. So each of those is at least 8 hours work for one of these tall Santas, but so worth the effort. If each one of these characters in one set takes that one's at least 2 hours painting, to turn them on the lathe does not take very long. It doesn't take very long. We could do a whole set in half an hour, but it's the painting and the finishing and all the other bits that take the extra time. So one of these sets will be, it's about 11 hours work in one set, and I've got 4 sets there, so that's a lot of work, but again, so worth it. These guys, oh, do you know, I haven't actually been tallying how long it took, but it took all day, to the entire day of painting. But I hope you will agree that it is so worth it. That's what we've been doing. I have got an unfinished deer that's got to be painted. The head still needs a lot of refinement and finishing off, and you know, getting the shape right as well on the head. So that's still got to be finished. So I look forward to doing that one. And obviously I have quite a few. I have about 2 or 3 more of these to do. Only that one. These two, I didn't even know after I'd painted this one. Hubby said, no, that one's for us. These two are for our tree, just for us. And I was so excited because we very rarely, we very rarely ever do anything for ourselves. So this is for our tree. I'm having them. And this one, it's mine. I am doing it for me. But I'll be cracking on with that. And of course, the fairs start this month as well. They will be starting, when is it? 24th of November. So there are 3 fairs in November, and I think I have 2 or 3 in December. But that is it. This year, that is all we've got. Now, judging from the last 2 years before that of doing Christmas fairs, we need at least 11 fairs at Christmas time to be able to give us enough money to buy wood for the next year's crafts and paints. And whatever else is needed comes out of the housekeeping. Or if there's equipment, then we have to toss it up between equipment, tools, wood, everything. So last year and this year we haven't quite made enough, because last year I only had, how many fairs did we do last year? I think it was 5 or 6. It's again the same this year, so we're not going to make much money. But there are some changes coming for next year as far as the crafting goes. So I'll keep you in mind of that by the end of December, when I start talking about all the plans for next year. So keep an eye out for that. And this video, I think, has gone on for long enough now. And ask, if you haven't already done so, please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so that when I post videos again, you'll be able to see that. What else? I'm remembering what my grandson told me. My 10-year-old grandson told me I had to do. Grandma, you got to do it. Oh, and share. Please do share. And comment. Please do comment. Keep it family friendly. But do comment. Share the things you do, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see us do. What would you like to see us do? That would be helpful as well, actually. At least we know what the market would want us to do. I think that's it for now. All right, my lovelies. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have a lovely day, evening, whatever. And I shall see you again soon. The next video will be Make, Do and Mend. Yes, I've got something I can show you for that. All right, my lovelies. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.